That's right. New intro, new mat. Don't mind the grime, it's totally new. Yeah, so some stuff's gonna be different in this video than the past two that I've released. I realize that I don't really like doing the whole intro edit thing. I feel like I spend way too much time editing that instead of putting like funny edit stuff in the actual video, and I want to do more of that. So, it's not, yeah, so I've decided to change that. If you saw the thumbnail, you know that I found the rest of the Darth Maul kit. Yay! Everyone's so excited. I'm so organized with my terrible bits box. I put them together pretty standardly here. I just don't add the arms because I had the great idea to magnetize my little... I think the Trench Cleric for the actual game, Trench Crusade, is really ugly. I don't like it. I know last time I called a model ugly on the channel, there were pitchforks and torches at my door, and I'll do it again, sure. I just don't like it. I think it's a cool idea. I just think it's way too much stuff on a model, and I know that's kind of the point, but I don't like it. This is not my thing. So instead, I'm taking the Darth Maul body because I love the flowiness of the robes and the kind of leatherness of the boots. Like they look pretty realistic for regular boots. And I start to just drill holes into the arms. Originally, I was going to magnetize the head as well, so I could change between a helmeted head and a regular head, but then I remembered I don't want to paint skin. I'd rather not make my models look like burn victims, so that was out of the question. Now, when looking for arms, I did end up going back to my 30k sprue for bits, because of the sword coming out of the sheath arms that comes in the kit, which I think is really cool. The only problem is that the width of the torso for this Maul figure is not big enough to have the proper arms attached to the sword and the sheath. So instead, I kind of had to ruin this really cool bit. I cut the sword from the sheath. I was going to leave a little gap the way that it was designed. I just cut it flat because it was just way too much of an issue. After cutting that, I attached it to one arm, and then I took the regular sword-bearing arm from the kit and glued that onto a right arm. And it definitely was a lot of extra work to get here, but I think the end result was really good. So, magnetized those. Originally, I was going to have a slung under-the-shoulder rifle, but as every great person who makes models with magnets, I put it in the wrong way, and I couldn't get it out, and I did not feel like doing it again, so instead I just stuck with giving him a pistol kind of put at his waist, because if I want to run my Trench Cleric with a pistol and like a regular sword, I can. But in the list that I currently have, I have him with a great sword, so I can put the little sheath on an arm, and it kind of, gives the aesthetic that it's a much bigger weapon. It's a lot more wieldy. He has to use, like, his entire kit to use it. I think it worked out pretty well. Now, I will say, the only problem that I had with this model was when I had put the head on, I did not adjust it properly, so he's looking pretty far down, and on a regular flat base, I don't think it would have looked good at all. He would look like he dropped like a coin on the floor and couldn't find it, so I decided to put him at a kind of elevated position, so it kind of looks like he's doing the, man, I don't even know what to call it, his head's down, kind of that samurai, slash look, and he's about to put his sword back, and it worked out pretty well. I used some green stuff on the base to elevate the corkboard to give it more of a sloped look. I didn't want to do too much of a slope, and the more that I was working on the base and adjusting the figure to see if it matched, it just reminded me of this one Pinterest art where it's a knight kick-flipping a sword, and if I'm able to find that, I'll put that up, but I also thought about doing that at one point, but I just don't I don't want to use another sword bit to have him kickflip a sword. Maybe for another model. We'll see how many people like that idea. After gluing on a bit of other pieces of cork and some of this effect rock that I have, I moved back onto the body that was primed. The problem that I was having was I didn't realize that, man, I also have to paint the limbs separately. Some paint on primer did the trick. And I went to paint it gray, and then it went black, and then I did the highlights that I did before on my previous model. Now on this one, I think it came out a lot better, because I was trying to focus more on the recess areas of where the shadow would linger more, and then I grayed the top parts of the fabric. And then when I came in with the white paint, I just did the exact edges, like the very, very top of pieces. I think the back was a little bit too much, but I think this is still a better painting outcome than the Observer that I made. And if you're interested in the Observer, go ahead and check out that video. I'll put the little video icon thing up here so you can check it out as well. After getting this really cool look to the model with just gray, whites, and blacks, it kind of reminded me of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. There's like these ones for the Last Ronin that are just black, white, and gray, and I thought it was pretty cool. I even at one point was like, man, do I even want to color this in? This looks fantastic. But I ended up painting it anyways. I took like a brighter green for the body. I did a regular kind of like darker brown for the boots and the belt, and then the arms and the helmet I did the same red that I did Stieg with. I cannot believe in all the videos I've released, Stieg has been said in every single video. I don't know how to feel about that. When trying to work with the helmet, I did at one point want to make it like a metallic red, and I just happened to grab the wrong paint and didn't check whatsoever. I was super tired when making the last add-ons of the paint job, so I'm sure that didn't help. But I made the helmet really, really dark because I used a darker metallic paint, and then I painted the red over top of it so it doesn't have that like silvery gleam that I wanted that I had put on the sword. So you know, I'm still trying to get used to this painting thing, but I feel like I made a lot less mistakes on this model than I did on the Observer. Other than the fact that his arms are a little bit too long. It's not necessarily hard to see, but when you have him in person, you're kind of holding him, he's a little lanky in the arms. But I still think he's an incredibly cool looking model. I made sure that he's technically smaller than the Observer, because I like the idea of the Observers in this kind of like mechanized power armor. Nothing nearly as big as the heavy infantry, but still like it's still an increased power suit of some kind, you know? So I was honestly, I was pretty satisfied with the way things worked out.